The game of the weekend taking place in Charlotte, North Carolina, as the Tennessee Volunteers and the NC State Wolfpack do battle, helping us talk all things Tennessee, break down this game, and discuss the Vols early in the 2024 season. Our good friend Austin Brown of Channel Tennessee, who does a fantastic job, again, talking all things Tennessee Volunteers. Austin, what's going on, man? Been too long. Appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Just things are going good. We moved up to Knoxville first time in my life and just got married. So and football just started, so all things are good.
All things are good. Yeah. 1 and
Yeah.
0, right? No losses
Mm-hmm.
have happened yet. So vibes are
Mm-hmm.
high, obviously, for you and for the entire fan base. Awesome. Let's start there, man. The season opener, obviously, we're talking on game week of NC State, but I want to look back at that game against Chattanooga. I mean, it's Chattanooga, but a 69-3 final. It's 24-0 after the first quarter. It's 45-0 at halftime. Nico Iamaleava, which I've been working on that
Mm-hmm.
pronunciation all offseason. Austin, two things that I've learned over the last 8 months of doing this SEC Unfiltered stuff and this SEC Unfiltered venture. Learn how to pronounce Nico's last name, and it's Vols, not Vols. I got crushed for that early on. So I promise I'm still making sure all my
Really?
pronunciations are correct. Yeah,
You
I,
did Vols?
I
That's
did.
always a
Well,
Midwestern thing.
I know.
That's like a
I didn't even
Midwesterners. They
I didn't
screw
even
that up.
realize I was doing it. I really didn't until somebody pointed it out, and I was like, well, I guess I'm not really. Yeah. So I kind
Yeah.
of caught myself. I don't know why. I really don't know why, but yeah, I've learned my lesson. Either way, this game, Austin, when you looked at it, I don't know if you were in the building or not, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's Tennessee rolled. Everything was clicking. What'd you see in this one? Was there anything that came about that maybe you learned about this team, or did anything unexpected happen, or was it sort of the way you expected Tennessee to take care of business?
I mean, the result you can't take anything away from on itself. Like you knew you were going to go in there and win by a lot, and if you didn't, that's going to be the concern. Like if you're NC State per se. But even last year, we played a tough game with Austin P, and this year, yeah, we expected to blow them out like that, and we blew them out like that. But just seeing the offense, we heard the hype from camp, and we knew we had a super deep receiving core, and of course, Nico with finally a year, 2 years of training under his belt, and just seeing him again, and it's just like, oh my God, he's so good. Okay, Hendon Hooker was amazing at Tennessee, but I don't think he had the ceiling Nico has. I think pretty much even he'd agree with that. He's called Nico the one, and he's it's so impressive to watch. Like his throws are throws that 99% of quarterbacks in the country cannot make. Some of them, and it's just so eye opening to see. In the receiving core, my God, they really have upgraded in big ways. Dante Thornton can finally move back to the slot, and Brazil looks amazing, and Squirrel's still there, and Brew looks like he was injured last year. He got injured against y'all or South Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
and but he looks like ever since the injury he got a little bit leaner, and I think that's actually helping him. And yeah, the O line can't really take anything away from Chattanooga, but it all looked pretty great on offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you look at Nico's stat line, 22 of 28, 314, 3 touchdowns. I'm sure he was probably pulled by halftime, I would assume. I didn't get to
Mm-hmm.
watch every single snap of this game. I mean, you mentioned the
I
rushing
didn't. I
offense.
didn't.
Yeah.
So,
Dude, 304 yards rushing. You mentioned, too, the thing that jumped out at me off the stat sheet initially was Dante Thornton, 3 catches for 105 and 2 touchdowns. And I think that's a guy that, you had a lot of buzz about and excitement about and hype. But if he can get rolling, like the way people think he can, I know it didn't really click last year, but he's a guy that could be a difference maker, obviously, on the offense. And then defensively, it was a dominant performance. You hold
yeah.
Chattanooga to, it's just over 200 yards of offense, but 74 yards rushing. So moving into this game, Austin against NC State, this is the one we want to talk about, right?
Mm.
Something I've noticed. So we dropped our preview early in the week. Appreciate the Tennessee fans, by the way, that have ran that up and have commented, interacted, engaged. What I've noticed, though, and you and I were talking about this a little bit off air, Tennessee fans are really confident. Austin, they are really confident. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've seen a comment that is predicting anything other than a Vols blowout. I mean, I've seen 54-13. I've seen 42-10. Like, Are you feeling that same level of confidence? I mean, you go into it obviously from like the analyst perspective, and anything can happen. But I mean, realistically, deep down, like, is it? Does this represent the entire fan
Hmm.
base? Like, there's a level of confidence going in that Tennessee should just absolutely steamroll State in this one.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's yeah. Um, Obviously, them looking sluggish in their one game really made us think that because it's actually they were playing a team that was ranked lower in the FCS polls, um, which doesn't mean a whole lot because the talent level jump is massive from Power Five to FCS. But I just I feel like our strengths are meet their weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
Like they seem to have a tough time defending, deep balls down the field, and our passing game is pretty elite. And their O line let up 9 tackles for loss, and I think this may be the best D line I've ever seen as a fan, or at least it's supposed to be. I mean, our third strings could start for half the SEC at least. It's seriously like an embarrassment of riches at D line, and I mean Pierce against Chattanooga, he played I think 10 snaps. That's all we needed, and he's gonna go to his hometown, and I think he's gonna have a little coming out party there, and yeah, I really don't fear them a whole lot. And Grayson McCall, I think what made him so great at Coastal a lot, at least a lot of it was he was in a system kind of catered to his abilities, and he was kind of a big fish in a small pond. And now he's up here, and Doran, he's never really had the most elite offenses, and that's always been the problem. And I I kind of I watched him at Coastal, but I didn't really analyze him too deeply. I didn't realize how he didn't really have a strong arm. It's very he likes to throw those 15 to 20 yard passes. He doesn't like to really air it out like we would in our offense. I know he's supposed to be great and everything, but I think this is a mismatch. I think I saw somewhere only 12% of NC State's team is blue chip recruits, when ours is about 60%. So it's just I kind of just think we can out talent them in a lot of ways. And for Heupel when he faces teams that aren't on the same talent level as him, it typically just goes the other way. We tend to have a good time. We if you're evenly matched, we can find trouble, and obviously greater will find trouble. But just I don't see. I could see maybe I don't know. Is 35 points at halftime really? I mean, I've seen it. Heupel, I mean,
Yeah.
when he comes and punches you in the face, it can come like a hurricane. I mean, you remember when we played y'all or South Carolina in 2021? I think we had like 28 in the first quarter. So it can when you got kind of like face a team and they're not prepared exactly for that, it can really avalanche on them.
So, Austin, what then? I'm curious. What is this team's weakness in your mind, or the thing that if looking outside of this NC State game, if Tennessee's going to get to the college ball playoff, what is the thing? Is it this? Is it the secondary? I feel
Yeah.
like that's the big, 10 players lost from a season ago in the secondary. Is that the big? That's just the big question that it essentially controls this team's ceiling.
That was our weakness before they left. With them here, that was a weakness. Yeah. Not everyone was thrilled about giving Willie Martinez, our DB coach, a contract extension, and we haven't agreed with a lot of the rotations there. We're not big fans of it. Our DBs don't turn their heads around, have never turned their heads around when Willie Martinez is coaching them. I Yeah, it's a problem. We're starting to walk on over a 5 star. It's we're disagreeing with some of the things there, but typically it's never good there. But here's the thing: modern college football outside of Georgia, how many elite secondaries are there?
Yeah, that I feel like that's most teams' concern, even the contenders. That's because I think because the offense is like you said, like the spread. It's everybody's throwing the ball around. That is the
Mhm.
most that is the most difficult thing I think is secondary defending the pass.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in our last two games, you really can't judge anything. UTC and Iowa doesn't do anything, so you can't really like. It was funny. Everyone was posting like some of the defensive stats from Iowa. It's like, guys, you realize how bad Iowa is? So like if they played Iowa every week, we would have the 85 Bears defense. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's number one concern. If I would rank a secondary concern, uh, I it would in a way it is QB because we don't really have depth there. Losing Nico, the world's over.
Mm.
I mean, I've never. I mean, I think Gaston Moore could, hold up against like a team we're supposed to blow out, but if he really has to do anything, that would kind of scare me. I think here's the thing, if it's like Nico's gone for a quarter, but he'll be back next week, it'll be Gaston Moore. But if we have to actually full time replace Nico for the rest of the year, it would be probably the freshman Jake Merklinger, which actually did look okay in garbage time against UTC. So yeah, and that's O line. Uh, we're kind of thin there. We got five solid starters, but outside of that, we're a little suspect. So yeah, there is some concerns around the team.
So, Austin, this is going to be my first time hanging out with Vol Nation truly at a Tennessee game.
Mm.
Outside of like when they were the road team, et cetera. You see what I'm saying? And I
Hmm.
will get another taste of it actually in Neyland and Knoxville. We'll be making that trip later in the year. Maybe the Bama game, maybe the Kentucky
Ooh.
game. We'll kind of see how the calendar shapes up. Yeah, really excited to get to Neyland. But what can folks expect from Tennessee fans in Charlotte? Do you think the fan base travels? Do you think they take over the Queen City?
Initially everyone put this game out there and they thought it would sell out really fast, but
Mm,
I think we were a little bit neutral site fatigued. I think we just weren't too psyched about, driving 3.5 hours from
mm,
Knoxville. But then we played Chattanooga and you get to see Nico, and I've heard people have been buying tickets left and right, including myself. I wasn't going. I kind of was just like, man, I pay for season tickets, play home and away, I personally I would rather go to Raleigh and have it in Neyland
mm.
than just play one game in Charlotte, or vice versa with another opponent. I'm not a big fan of college football in NFL stadiums. I feel like there shouldn't be any neutral sites outside of the Cotton Bowl or
Mhm.
the what do you call it, Red River Shootout.
Yeah, yeah.
That should be the only neutral site. Even the cocktail bar can go to hell. I don't care about it. I think it's BS. Georgia never has to play in the swamp.
That's a fair point. Yeah, I mean, I think Kirby wants the home and home because of the recruiting. I think
Yeah,
recruiting, he wants to be able to bring guys in and watch them do work against Florida. So,
yeah.
um, yeah, to be, I'm not. It's funny, Austin. You say that. I didn't want to do a neutral site game for this tour that we're doing, but
Mm,
right up the road from me, it's a bit of a homecoming. I lived in Charlotte for 4 years and got a lot of good memories, and also it's the best game of the week. So I mean,
yeah.
maybe Texas, Michigan, but I'd rather go see Nico also. I mean, Nico's the I. So I think what's interesting about Nico Austin is that you know there is. I mean, he's going to make mistakes. Like everybody makes it's at some point going to happen. Maybe it'll be very very few. I mean, he might have an insanely good year. I just think what's interesting with Nico is it's like it is all positive vibes with Nico. There has not he hadn't thrown a pick, he hadn't fumbled the ball, not even when he played against
Yeah.
Iowa. I mean, there's not a single concern about his game right now.
Yeah, but that's part of it. He's inexperienced. That's
Right.
the thing. He's never been in a big time. The Oklahoma, I feel like, look, I'll be honest, I think we're gonna roll here. I think it's a 20-point victory at least. That's my prediction. I just feel like we're better than them in so many areas. And I've even heard from NC State people that don't think it's going to be that great of a game. I'm personally very confident in this one, but that Oklahoma game, that will be his first test. That will be. I've heard he actually is looking forward to playing on the road. He's hyped that up about himself, and he does seem like the kind of guy that would flow well in that environment because he just nothing really gets to him. I don't know. He's very quiet, and he's just he, he I really like this dude. He's everything he does is amazing, but it's going to be at Oklahoma in a hostile environment. I don't know how good their secondary is. It's up and down usually with Oklahoma, but yeah, that'll be the real test, I think.
the Nico Iamaleava show in Knoxville,
Mhm.
Tennessee. The hype is through the roof. You say 20-point win against NC State.
Yeah, I think my prediction was like 49-17. So I think, but I
I like
expect
it.
20
I
to
like it.
20 something.
So the consensus then is fair. We are expecting a Vols blowout. See, I'm also picking Tennessee to win, but I was more conservative and went 31-24, and people were commenting like I picked them to lose. So I was wondering, I was like, what's going on? Then I realized, oh, okay, I'm a little off, I guess, when it comes to the expectation. I think Tennessee's absolutely capable of the blowout win. College football is just weird, and
Yeah, I mean,
maybe I'm a little bit like, NC State. Will they play that poorly 2 weeks in a row? They might. They might be Florida State and just play. They might just be who they are and not be very good. I will say them having their mic back that got ejected or like on the 5th play of that game for
yeah,
targeting, I think could be a key for them to be better. But then again, like they're going to have to score. I mean, it's Tennessee's going to score. So if NC State's not up for the challenge, and to your point, if that line can't protect Grayson McCall, and obviously, I mean, I'm as high on Tennessee as anybody out there. I think it's one of the best front sevens in college football. James Pierce Jr., probably the best defense player in college football.
mm,
It's going to be really tough for State to keep up. So to your point, I mean, could it be a 21-point victory? I think it absolutely could, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So I'm excited to watch Nico, though, man. Get a first look at him in person for me. See
hmm
the talent that he is. We might be looking, man, at a generational player. I think that's the
yeah.
expectation.
Tennessee players aren't allowed to win Heisman's, but you never know.
Indeed. Austin, dude, I'm looking forward to linking up with you in Charlotte. I appreciate you taking the time. This is always a pleasure to chop it up and talk Vols. And um, I'm excited to see the turnout. I feel like it's going to feel like a Tennessee home game. So,
I think so too.
yeah. Austin, I appreciate it, man. Just in case folks are tuned in, they don't know, let folks know where they can check out all your work.
We're mainly on Twitter. That's kind of our grounds. We have Facebook too. I'm the co-host of the Channel TM podcast. It's every Sunday night or every Sunday night. We're on Twitter at Channel TN and about the same on Facebook and pretty much everywhere else. So yeah.
Austin Brown, Channel Tennessee. Austin, appreciate you taking the time. Safe travels to Charlotte, and we'll link up soon, my man.
Yes, sir.